All right, July 24th at 9:21 a.m. in the morning. And what I'm going to do today in the kitchen is to show you another Southern classic breakfast. Now, I know everybody, or most everybody, has heard of sausage, gravy, and biscuits, right? Well, this is the same premise, but we're not going to use sausage. We're using bacon, because the sausage that I have is frozen hard as a brick, and it will take too long for it to unthaw. Whereas with the bacon, I can pretty much do it in the pan, because I'm on a slow heat anyways to draw all the fat out of it. And then we'll pull the bacon bits out, and let me show you what we're using. Now, I'm cheating just a little bit on my biscuits. I've made biscuits before, not on here. It's been a long time. So, like I said, I'm cheating. This is what we're using. We've got 2 slices of bacon that is cubed up that we're going to slow render. This is our biscuits that we're going to use. All-purpose flour that once we get the fat rendered out of the bacon, we're going to put our flour in the bacon grease to make our roux. And a roux is just a thickening agent. And to our roux, we will add whole milk, probably about 2 cups. We'll probably use about a tablespoon, maybe a tablespoon and a half of flour. And what you want to do is you want to cook your flour to get that raw flour taste out. You don't want that in your gravy. And then we'll add our whole milk, and we'll combine those together. And what happens is the roux acts as a thickener with the milk. And the longer you cook it, the thicker it gets. Some people call it a bechamel. It's just a basic white sauce gravy. And then whatever you add to it from there depends on whether you're making it savory or sweet or whatever. Now, obviously, ours is going to be savory because we're using bacon grease. Now, if you use just regular shortening or some type of oil to make your roux out of, then you can adjust with sugar or whatever to make, like I said, either a savory sauce or a sweet sauce, just depending on what you want out of it. So I'm going to pause, and I'm going to get our bacon going, and then I'll be right back. So as you can see, we're using a little pan. You can judge it by the size of my hand. A little pan. We're letting it heat up just a little bit, and we're going to put that on low, or in between medium and low. I guess you would say medium low is where we're going to put the heat. Now then, we're going to add our bacon pieces to it, and we're going to start rendering that fat out. And I'll be back once we get it going. We're getting our oven preheated to 350 degrees for our biscuits. And as you can see, some steam is starting to come off of the bacon. So I'll be right back. Once we get it started melting, the fat melting, I'll be back. So we changed the eyes. We went from the really small eye to a medium-sized eye here, but we still got the fire on low. Not medium low, but low, because I think it's going to heat up a little bit quicker than that little small eye did anyway. So we're going to start rendering the bacon the bacon fat out of these pieces. And once we get to a certain consistency of doneness, we'll pull the bacon bits out, add our flour, cook it for a little bit to get that raw taste of the flour out of it. We'll add just a little bit of salt and black pepper. You can always go back and add salt to it, but the black pepper, if you like it peppery, great, add what you want. Be easy with the salt. Like I said, you can go back and add when you can't take away, because once it's in there, it's in there. But yeah. And then we'll add our whole milk and stir and stir and stir. And you want to do this on low heat when you add your milk. You're adding something cold to something hot. But if you end up putting it on high heat, the milk will scorch on the bottom of the pan. That's why you have to constantly, or on a consistent basis, stir this once you get your roux and milk combined. So I'll be back in just a minute to show you where we're at. So here's our biscuits. There was 8 in a can, and we're using butter flavored biscuits. Non-stick pan. If you don't have non-stick and you just have regular pans, be sure to put a thin layer of oil on the bottom of the pan so your biscuits don't stick. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. These will go in the oven once that gets done for anywhere between 12 to 15 minutes. Just keep an eye on them. When you see the top of them turn golden brown, then let them go for just about 1 or 2 more minutes, maybe. Or just turn it off right there and let them sit in the oven there for another minute or 2, and then pull it out and let them cool down. Alright, our oven is preheated to 350 degrees. So what we'll do now is we'll take our biscuits, place them in the oven. We're going to set our timer for 13 minutes, which is in between 12 and 15. So we're going to set it for 13 minutes. And then when it goes off, we'll check them. If they look done, we'll go ahead and turn the heat off and let the biscuits sit in there for just a minute before we pull them out. And I'll be right back. Oh, and as you can see, our bacon is slowly but surely rendering down. And I'll be back. Now then, as you can see, we're getting quite a bit of fat. And what we're doing is we're crisping this bacon up into like bacon bits. And that may take a few minutes, but it doesn't take a real long time. And once we get the color that we're looking for, we'll take the bacon bits out, and then we'll go ahead and add our flour to our oil or our fat. We'll proceed in mixing that up, cooking the raw flavor out of the flour, and then we'll add our milk. And I'll show you all that as we go. I'll be right back. Now then, as you can see, now this is how much oil we've got off of that bacon. Just by slow cooking it and letting that fat render out. So what we're doing now, let me pause it. So we're using all-purpose flour. That's 1 tablespoon right there. We'll probably use, we'll do like, say, 1.5 tablespoons of flour. And when you put the flour in, this critical. Stir on low heat till all that flour gets incorporated into that fat. Stir. And that flour is going to pull up well, it's going to pull up a lot of the flavor off of the bottom of that pot. Now, the longer you let this cook, the browner it's going to get. Now, we don't want it to burn. We just want it to kind of toast that flour. So, make sure you get all the raw flour off the sides and everything. Get everything mixed up really well. See how it's still just a touch runny? That's all right. We can live with that. So what we're going to do now, I got to pause it for just a minute because I have to pour